Well, good afternoon, everybody. I think we are live, so let me know if you can hear me. Usually it tells me you are live. It didn't do it this time, but maybe I wasn't paying attention for a split second. Usually I tell you, hi from glorious Florida. Well, we have another storm going straight over us, but it is not as bad as was expected. So a lot of rain, a lot of wind, but no roofs blowing around, and so everything is fine here. And we still have power, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's always a plus.
Okay, at least you can hear me, so I assume everybody else can hear me.
Yep, Katie says sounding great.
Okay, Katie is here too. I guess that reminds me, Katie had some questions and I did answer her. Let me see what it was. I have way too many things open on my computer.
Katie just said, why so many storms in Florida? Well, if we want to keep this podcast up, then maybe we better just not answer.
Yeah, there is some suspicions, but we are not going there. We are not going there. Yeah, Katie asked which water is better, and that is a question that comes up so many times. And I think we had discussions about that too. What is better to use, the RO water or distilled water? I learned that with RO water, you waste, and I thought it was 5 gallons, but it could be 3 gallons of water before you have 1 gallon of reverse osmosis water. And I was like, well, that means that water gets wasted, but does it really gets wasted? But where I live, we pay by the gallon. So if we would have reverse osmosis, we would pay probably 3 times more for water than what are we doing now. So for me, it was much easier to get a distiller, and the tap water here is really, really bad. And so I know people who are actually drinking it and they say they don't get sick, but I don't feel they're too healthy. They always have digestive problems. But my tap water goes through the Alexa Pure filter because I want to get as much of the fluoride out as possible, and I hope it's doing that, because I think my brain is actually still pretty good. And from the Alexa Pure filter, it goes into the distiller. And that is how I use the water. But I also use bottled water at times, and that was one that Dr. Morse was using, and it tastes great. And I found it on Amazon, and for just a little 12 bottles for a little over $20. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. It tastes really good. And that is Panna water, Panna. So that is my water thing. And I want to tell you about something that happened to me when I first traveled from the Netherlands to the United States in 1981. And I was on a motorcycle, so, you stop along the road and get water wherever you can. And oh my God, I got so sick. And every time I was in the United States, I was sick. And sick in the sense as diarrhea, really bad. And pain, and not realizing it was the water. Until somebody said, yeah, well, if you want to have like orange juice, because it's also, it was never fresh orange juice, it was, powdered. And that is how they, in many of the restaurants, make their orange juice. And they use whatever water they have. He said, you have to ask for well water. So that made it a little better. I didn't get as sick from the well water. And one time I was this was already years later, and I knew about the water, so I was really careful. But I was I had a motorcycle travel company at that time, and I was in a pretty nice restaurant near the airport in LA. And in the morning, I got orange juice. Not giving it a second thought, orange juice for breakfast. Well, I was 3 days in bed. I was so sick. It was unbelievable. So that was my water story. So you can imagine I am very careful with what water I drink. And even if I would be in a restaurant and I can taste it now, and order some hot tea. I usually have my or hot water. I usually have my own tea bags with me, and I can taste it right away when the water is bad, and I shouldn't drink it. So I'm amazed that people, everybody gets that water in restaurants and everybody drinks it. And maybe they get sick and they're not even aware that that is the reason, and they just see it as like, oh yeah, that's normal. So yeah, it's interesting, the water here, and I'm not going to say that the water in any in countries is other countries is any better or even worse. And the funny thing is that trip, what I mentioned, the hotel in Los Angeles, we just got back from a 2 week motorcycle tour that was for tour operators and photographers, and traveling to Cabo San Lucas. So 2 weeks through Mexico. And we were told, do not drink the water there. Well, sometimes there wasn't really a choice. So I did drink the water there and I ate whatever was available there. And I saw how I saw how things went there. But you know what? I did not get sick. They in Mexico, there in Baja, Mexico, they did not have the junk in the water that here in the United States happens. So that's always that's a good thing to know. But yeah, if you're traveling and you can't take your own water with you, it's my always go for bottled water. I mean, not every bottled water is good. We know that now because some bottled water is just tap water filtered slightly. But
The other
yeah,
thing I wanted to say too is ice. Be very careful with ice too, especially if they make their own ice or something like that, because they don't clean their ice machines for sure in a lot of restaurants. And plus two, you'd be using tap water for the ice as well. But I'm terrible at drinking water, and even still to this day, I barely take water in.
yeah, you have to be careful with that because there's so much junk in there, and we just cannot handle it.
I know.
So it's kind of sad.
Yep. But I'm very particular on flavor of water, and I hear people all the time, water's water. I'm like, no, it's not. Like there are
No.
very few water I can drink because I cannot, I don't know, I can't swallow it.
No, it's yeah, they have to be careful. It's because it is you can actually say it is toxic. And it's kind of sad that it is that way. And so many people have so many symptoms. I mean, if I sometimes read in the groups, what is going on with people, it's like, oh my gosh, if you just knew. But yeah, so, and we're talking about water. I am still on the water fast. Not eating, only drinking water.
That's amazing.
How many
days?
Wow.
I started on a Sunday, so I don't know, it's a 12th day now.
I would say it's been almost a couple weeks then.
Yeah, 12, 13 days now.
Yep.
And next week, oh yeah, let's announce that next week, we do not have a podcast because Sarah is traveling and doesn't have internet connection. And I will be traveling. I will be going up north into the cold, going to Maggie Valley. My husband wanted to go there for a long time. There is a really beautiful and special motorcycle museum and Wheels Through Time. And they have a raffle for I don't know, it was a 40s or 50s knucklehead. Harley Davidson knucklehead, his thing. And I love him too, so don't get me wrong there. So we are going to stay there for a few days, and we're going to take in Blue Ridge. We're going to take the 2-hour train through the mountains. Really look forward to that. And on our way back, we're going to visit Savannah. So we will be back just before Thanksgiving. And a beautiful lady is going to take care of all my kitties. So I'm very happy about that.
That's always great when you find someone.
Well, yeah, because otherwise, I wouldn't go at all. I need daily, care for the cats.
Yeah,
So
know how
that's
to do.
and I'm saying that because I was like, I might as well just keep going with the water because it's so much easier. Because if you travel and you stop somewhere, you stop often at a restaurant, and then I have to decide what to eat, what not to eat, and it's like, I just stick with water.
Hmm.
And my husband will have his smoothies with him, so he can take that.
I know when we travel, it's like, okay, we got our Vitamix, we got because my husband does his smoothies, and then I just keep stopping and buying like grapes and even grape juice and stuff like that, or I just eat oranges. I turn to eating more fruits on the road than what I actually eat fruits. I will juice more when I'm home, obviously, because I have all the equipment here too. But on vacations though, yeah, it's very tempting to, stray towards breads and snacks and things like that too. But yeah, so pack
You
and
know,
take
the,
what you can.
yeah, and the bad thing is, I love snacking when I travel. It makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense. But it's like, it used to be like nuts or chips, and I don't know what it is. But now it's just like I have water. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to, there's water. The only thing is, I should drink at least a gallon a day, and I can barely get, half a gallon down, and that's not good.
Hmm.
So whoever wants to do this, you pretty much have to have to get at least a gallon in, and make sure you don't get constipation, because if you get dehydrated, and as crazy as it sounds, on a water fast, you can't get dehydrated. Get
Do you
cramps.
think do you think that's because like really the fruit is really the only thing that really hydrates us and that the
Yeah,
water? Okay.
that is mostly it. So now I don't have that, and there's still, pee enough, but that's not really the problem. But having bowel movement, it's like not really. And I talked to someone who said, yeah, you should have way more bowel movement even on a water fast, and I don't. So I have to up the water.
Yeah,
So those are the little things that we learn.
shouldn't bowel movements be like 3 times a day, 2, 3 times a day?
Yeah, well, that's not the case right now.
Well, I know Katie also she had sinus issues and constipation this week, even though she's been taking in lots of orange juice, apple juice, and things like that too. Like
Yeah, it is. I got When you are not feeling well and you don't really feel like eating, I would, instead of actually putting fruit in, even juices, I would say don't put anything in. Just leave it for a day. But it is a good thing. You call it sinus problems, and I would say it's detoxing. Stuff needs to come out. You're probably in a colder area. I think you were in South Dakota. So that is usually the time that it's alkaline, so you start detoxing more. That's why we call that the cold season. People start having, detox, cannot call it problems, symptoms, detox symptoms. Oh, Grant, you now want to do a podcast with Wand? What happens with just coming on here?
Still haven't joined yet, Grant. You need to.
Yeah, I pinned the Zoom link at the top, so whoever wants to join us can come in. All you need to do is click on it. And if you are on an iPad or a tablet, it still works.
Yep. Juan's even doing it on his phone. So, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hi. I wanna do a shout out. Hi, Grant and Katie. I have a friend that's joining, and he's actually my best friend. He's my upper cervical chiropractor. His name is Seth, and he's at the gym right now, and he's listening in here. We live in Northern California, and so yeah, I'm somewhat excited. But I know earlier we were talking about Grant. He told me something about he needed the link or something emailed to him. So I don't know how that would look, but he definitely would like to join in on the Zoom. He told me because me and Grant are friends. We talk on the phone. But
well, copy and paste the link and email it to him then, Juan, if you can.
Okay, yeah. I'm still learning all this stuff too. So
yeah, it's right at the very top of the chat over there. Toni has it pinned, so just right click on it, or on your phone, I think you long press it and then
yeah,
put it
long
in
press. Yeah, like that's how you copy. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah, right now I'm itchy. It's such a trip. I originally, right around my neck down here, I just started scratching, and then it just started getting red, and right now it almost seems like my skin is irritated here. But then I'm also kind of getting rashy, somewhat all over my body. Last night I just about scratched my my legs to bleeding. So I'm doing an elimination right now. I started with the nuts, and so I'm not eating any more nuts for the past 2 days, because I think I told you last week I kind of went a little crazy with nuts, and then and then we talked about the sulfur and stuff like that in onions and garlic, so I've eliminated that from my salad. Yeah, I'm not really sure why I'm so itchy, and then to me the next thing would be, well, I had all that stock up on avocados, and I've given away a good dozen or so to friends, but I still have probably a dozen avocados left, and I just don't want to waste them. But I'm wondering if it could be the oils in the avocados that are causing me to have this itchiness and somewhat like a rash or something. Anyway, I don't know if you had any ideas around that, but
yeah,
I want to eat my avocados.
Yeah, well, you can actually freeze your avocados, so that is a good thing. You can just cut them in pieces or keep them whole, however you want to do it, and you can freeze them, and then you can still use them. It can be the avocados, because after you detox and you came off your juice or water fast, you get way more sensitive to things. And nuts definitely can cause that, and so can the garlic. So it's just a detox thing. You have to look at what you ate and go back to before that, and then add things to it. If you don't eat avocados for a few days and then add one to it and see how your body is doing, because it is something is detoxing out. And we've never, or you had never mentioned that, but check if your kidneys are still filtering, because if you are adding more fats and more proteins, the nuts, the seeds, then how is your body doing? How are you still filtering?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I'll do that in the morning, and check for the sediment. I do when I urinate, look and see. I do have floaters and things like that, but it's still not a a telling sign, when you do it in the morning. But yeah, I had another question too, how much I love putting onions in my salad and the garlic, for that flavor. But I put radishes now, but this was just yesterday. And then I thought about it and I go, well, what is a radish now? Is a radish similar to an onion or something? So, I was just kind of curious what your thoughts on radishes are.
Do you have the mucus less foods list?
No, I don't.
Well, it is listed in the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the link is in there, and it's a really easy link. You can go to mucuslessfoods.com and it takes you to that PDF. That is where you can look up if a food is mucus forming, or if it's mucus free, like most fruits are, or if it's mucusless, or is it acidic? Acidic forming. So it's all in there. And see what radishes do. I don't know it from the top of my head, although it's also in the ebook. The whole list is in the ebook too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I'd be very interested in that too, because you're right. I am detoxing. Because I noticed too, I am getting mucus. I'm clearing my throat, and I am. So yeah, there's something that I'm overdoing, and so I just wanted to kind of mention that it's part of my journey.
Your body will always tell you. That it's not, there are no secrets. Your body will let you know what's going on. So if you ate something and you get mucus forming, then look back at what it could have been. I just put the link for the list online. I think this is the correct list. Let me check.
And remember, keep it simple. You don't if you take something away, don't add something in, especially if you're having already some other kind of detox symptoms. You want to get as close to mono as you can, meaning like mono fruits, mono foods of any sort. So just eating one thing at a time. You want to make it more simple on your body while it's in the healing state. You don't want to complicate it with different digestions or different types of digesting is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I just looked it up. The radish is considered relatively starchless and mucusless, but it is definitely not a detox food.
Oh, okay. But I mean, it's not like an onion or garlic, whereas the onion you said was not at all good for us, and then as far as like garlic being a medicine.
There are two. I'm sorry. There are two ways to think about this. The onions are considered slightly mucus forming. And but that is from the mucusless idea. We look at it as onions and garlic are actually toxic. They're never meant to use as a food, especially not the garlic. They were like a medication, to help with certain things. They were not as a food. I don't even know where the garlic is listed here, but you can look it over and see what it is. See, if you want to stay healthy, eat as simple as you can, and that means fruit, whatever fruits. Don't combine too many. Mono fruit, like what Sarah said, is always the best. It's easy to digest. Your body will thank you. And if you want to eat a salad, keep it simple. You can have beautiful salads with tomatoes and cucumber and even zucchini if it needs to be. And we spoke about this last week. You can add some the green parts of the green onions. They are okay. What else? And the soft leafy greens, and preferably lettuce and not kale, which is hard to digest, and the same with spinach. But you can use dandelion greens, but I usually limit that because they can be rather bitter. So I'm not really a fan of it, although I do like dandelion tea. And nettle, you can actually eat nettle. I knew a colleague of my husband back in the Netherlands. He only drank at his work, everywhere. He was always drinking nettle tea, And I have not ever seen nettles growing in, this is a stinging nettle, growing in the wild here in the United States, not ever. I've been traveling here since 81 every year, been living here now for more than 20 years. I have never seen a stinging nettle. Now in the Netherlands, they are everywhere. People treat it like it is an invasive weed because it literally is everywhere. So, but and a nettle is very good for you.
We definitely have stinging nettles here in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Definitely got to watch out for those little things.
Yeah, definitely you're correct about, after the fast, in my water fast, which was the longest that have ever gone on water, the 20 days. Yeah, I definitely feel more sensitive to things. I noticed in the chat, Katie was saying, and you too also, Sarah, about sensitivity to smells. I don't know if it's so much a sensitivity at the moment to certain things as far as smells go, but I definitely am smelling more things. I go to the sink and it's like I can smell down to the pipes. Now it's like I'd never smelled that before, but it was probably always there. And people's breath, I can smell. I mean, even if they don't have, like a halitosis or anything, I can still smell them from a distance, and that's a pretty acute, sense. It's kind of neat, and it's somewhat like maybe the way that we were originally supposed to be back in nature, just smelling more, and just like the way that the animals can hear really good and smell really good, we're probably supposed to have those same type of sensitivities, even our eyesight, things like
we've been dumbed down on so many levels. It's unreal. And I always like to think too that, how all of the abilities vampires have, well, they stole all those ideas from us. Those are the abilities we have. We're quick, we can smell, we can sense things, we have good sight, we have good hearing, all those things like that. I always think that they stole that from us, really.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we should be just like, I remember Charlie telling a story about being light, and he was like running so fast. He was running faster than he had ever run before. This was, I think that he told the story maybe a year ago or more, out running with the dogs and stuff. And, most definitely that is what it's all about. As far as our physicality, we should be light and agile, and really, I think that we're meant to be very thin, because I noticed that like my body is changing right now, but I feel so much stronger and quicker and more agile. And even after the accident I had with the eye incident, I was thoroughly feeling as if I was in control of the situation in a moment, and I was lighter, what I mean? And I was in the, almost towards the end of my water fast. It was on the 17th, and I was going to do 20 days, starting from the 1st. And so at that point, I really had some real good mental acuity. And that's what I was kind of curious too about you, Toni. Now that you're like 12 days into your water fast, yeah, you should be like having this heightened awarenesses of things. And yeah, how do you feel, your mind and stuff?
Not where I would like to be honest. I have an high awareness. I think I've had that for the last years anyway, but I did not notice a difference there. Um, I have a lot of health issues that I need to overcome. And when I am sticking to the all fruit, I'm doing pretty good. My reason for going on a water fast was like, my healing was not going as fast as I wanted it with the fruit, because we we tend to get a little impatient. So here was like, okay, let's do the water, not worry about any foods. And so there is definitely improvement. I got my blood pressure at 122/62. So I don't think it can get any better on both sides. I haven't, and I should do that. I still haven't checked if my kidneys are filtering, because I've had a long-term kidney issue, and when that was tested, with Iridology, they told me I had a kidney issue. They never told me what to do. No doctor ever did. Now I'm not much of a doctor visitor. And so, I just let it be. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I got bad kidneys. And I still made it to the age that I am right now. So I think I'm pretty strong and meant to be here, and I am meant to heal. So I am healing, but it is a slow process, even with the all water. I did a water fast of 35 days when I was in my 20s, and that was to lose weight. And yeah, that is the first thing that is always noticeable when you go on all water. And I did one 10 years ago, which was actually a lemon water fast. I did that for 40 days. What I noticed after that was that my GI tract was really nicely cleaned out. But yeah, after that I was, eating nuts and seeds and the beans, cooked food. So I got back to not being well again. There is, I can actually recommend it to everyone to do, even if it's only a day, or maybe you can do 3 days, or do it in a weekend when you don't have to work and you don't have other important commitments that require a lot of activity. Because I do rest. Well, actually, it's not really more than usual. Since I sleep only, 5, 6 hours at night, I may take a nap in the afternoon. I still do that. So I don't know. I don't feel more tired than usually. It's yeah, well, that's actually pretty much it. It's like, try it. The only thing is, if you are very weak with your whatever your health is going through, and you are already very weak, don't. Then you need to build up strength before you can do it. But if you are at that point, you are that weak, then I suggest you get in touch with me, because then we do need to talk.
You were saying that next week there is no show, correct?
Right.
Oh, and then you're going to be back for the 24th?
Yeah, I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back. I am leaving on the 17th. Yes, I will be back the 24th. It's actually Thanksgiving, but I don't know what you are doing, Katie, but we could do it then.
Katie or Sarah?
Oh, Katie, Sarah. See, I was reading your response to Katie. Thank you, Katie, for being such an important part of the show. And I said, Katie. Okay, Sarah.
No, we kind of don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so yeah, I'm free.
Okay.
I don't like to murder, so.
Oh, you should. Sorry, you should go on my my Facebook. I have a Thanksgiving, a Thanksgiving turkey listed there.
Yes, that's much better.
Yeah, really, you should see it. It's all fruit, but it's kind of nicely done. And someone was responding for that. If I would serve that, no one would come to visit me. And I'm like, well, choices. It's I could not serve any dead animal on a plate to anybody, not for any reason. And then the question arises, actually, are the people who come to your Thanksgiving dinner party meeting, are they coming for you to celebrate, your love, your friendship, your being together, or are they coming for the food? I think we have to stop that whole idea that on Thanksgiving you have to eat turkey and the stuffing and what is it, the green casserole,
Green bean casserole, sweet potato
yeah,
casserole.
all these things as if that is the most important thing of your coming together. Why can it not be something else? I think if you would have your table full of fun salad things, I mean, I can make amazing raw food things. It doesn't have to be all fruit. I mean, there is a lot of food that we use for transitioning, and it can be nuts, and it can be, if you have a dehydrator, if you're really into this raw food health for yourself, share it with other people, and really look into the options that are available. There are some, what is it? Raw Christina, what is her complete name? Fully Raw Christina
Yep.
is one. There is
The Pirelli is another. I mean,
yeah,
Marcus
Rothschild, Marcus Rothschild, and what is her name? Kara Brotman. They have an amazing book that is called Love on a Plate. They do use nuts in it, but I see that as transitioning food and food when you share with family. There are so many options. And it's like, people, please get away from all that animal derived food. Get away from the meat, the turkey, the chicken, the fish, and the dairy. And yes, that does include cheese and yogurts and the fermented foods. But there is, oh, who is the other guy? My gosh, we talked about him before, because he has an amazing raw pizza recipe. I made it. It is delicious.
Yeah.
So there are so many options, and your family will be happily pleased. If they're not, then, well, I'm not going to say anything.
And if you're going somewhere, bring something. I mean, a lot of people really enjoy a fruit platter in the first place. Just some stuff, and you can always be with your family without having to sit there and eat. And yes, it's going to be very awkward for them, especially the first couple of times. But every time I bring a fruit platter or bring anything like that, people pick at it, but nobody really eats it like I would. So, and just offer to bring something, talk to the people before you go in the first place as well too, and say, and just explain about like that you're in detox and stuff like that, and would they mind if you brought anything? And
Yeah,
most people won't care.
but you know what? It is the same as when you're going to like a potluck. Who tells you, you have to bring something that is cooked and contains meat. I mean, you can, but you can bring anything you want. But what I want to get to is that there are so many other options,
Yes.
instead of the animal derived. It doesn't even, there is an in between the fruit and the standard, call it standard foods that we're using. It doesn't have to be all fruit. I mean, you can make what is it? All kinds of wraps with veggies in it. You can make great veggie dips, and well, unless people don't have teeth, I'm sure they will eat it. But in that case, you can still have a cold soup, and you can even warm it up a little. Just don't boil it. And keep I've done it. I invited people for dinner. They did not know what they were going to be served, and they thought it was delicious. I mean, I make a crazy curry coconut soup, and you can still keep it raw. So, and I see that actually as an introduction to a better diet than people, because now people are thinking like, oh God, vegan, and all raw, that is just, I don't want to eat just carrots and raw broccoli or raw whatever. But if you show them that there are delicious ways, but it means go online, go on, put type in raw vegan recipes, you will get amazing things. Just go low on the oils, but make a guacamole dip. And there are actually Sita, that is a brand, has some chips that are not made from potatoes or corn, that are not too bad. And don't eat it on a detox, because it's never helping me, and I love these things. But those are all the other options. I already see, and I easily visualize something. I can already see a whole table with all these delicious recipes that I have in mind, instead of the always boring turkey and yeah. Okay, you get the idea.
A while back, somebody had asked on Twitter, what would you do if God or Jesus was coming back, and like, what would you serve them? And the comments were, you can just imagine, like, I'd serve the best steaks and the best, I can't remember, meatloaf. I mean, people had all these things, but they were all revolved around meat. And so my response is I would have a bounty on the table of all of God's fruits that he has given to us. And I would have the best fruits that I could possibly find for him. And the guy responded to me, and he's like, that's interesting. And I responded back, and I said, why would God want to eat his creatures and his animals and sentient beings that he has left here for us to guard? And the guy said, that's very true. And then that's all as far that it went. So that's what I would do.
Exactly. Same here.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting question, though.
Yep.
Yeah, I found that.
Debbie.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. Nope. Go ahead.
No, I was just, excuse me, I was just going to allude to, I agree about, when you're going out to dinner, or that you're going to be out, and it might be past or close to a mealtime. I'll just grab a bag and throw, fruit in there. I've actually been over some people's house, and then it became dinner. And I carry oranges travel well, so I carry oranges with me. And I just brought in a bag of oranges and was sitting there at the table while everybody's, passing around the food. I'm peeling oranges, and it made for pretty good conversation. Because I don't go to the doctor. I mean, of course, to get stitched up or what have you. But I mean, I am my own doctor. Just like what I'm dealing with this itchiness and the rash. I know what to do. I mean, I'm not going to die. You know what I mean? In fact, I'm a scientist. So I want to experiment and learn what it is that's happening. And I really think it is the oils. But because right here, it really feels nice and soft, and it's just itchy, but I can kind of feel the oiliness. So it's wanting to come out of me. I've never eaten so much, probably good oils in my whole life. Even though it's avocados and nuts and seeds and stuff, you can overdo a good thing too, right?
I don't think there is a such thing as good oil, but that's my opinion from my research. Oil's oil, no matter what it is. But if I were sitting at a table and I was watching other people eat, and then I was watching you eat oranges, and then seeing your smile, seeing how clear your eyes are, and just how full of life you are, that would make me sit there and ponder, wow, maybe I have it wrong, and maybe this guy here has it right. There's been so many times where you see like pictures of these chefs or these people with cooking shows that are very big and heavy, and you just think like that is definitely not health by any means. But then looking at you and how full of life you are, at least someone like me, I do have a wandering mind where I like to sit and think, but I would look at you as you're full of life, and that was something I would want to know more about. So keep spreading that. And even though it may feel awkward at first, I mean, you're You're doing so much that you probably don't even realize what you're doing. So keep it up.
Yeah, thank you. I am.
That is, Deborah mentioned after my first 10-day fast, I never had to wear sunglasses. That happened to me too. And I have these beautiful sunglasses that I love to wear. And now I'm like, I don't need them. I want the sun in my eyes. And I do wear glasses, so sometimes I just have to take them off to let the sun come in. But that was an interesting observation that we don't need the sunglasses anymore. And that is another sign. We have been told, to protect your eyes from the sun. How ridiculous is this? You ever
Yeah.
thought about that?
Sunscreen. Oh yeah. We need sunscreen. We need sun hats. We need everything about that. And it's just amazing when really we don't need any of that stuff at all.
Oh, that's toxic. Yeah. That stuff, the sunscreen and all that, there's like some really bad things for you in there. Our skin produces it. I go, without a shirt as often as I possibly can, especially when the weather's nice. And, yeah, but I used to be totally into sunglasses. I would buy the best. I was paying $200 to $300 for a pair of sunglasses, and then come to find, that we need to have that photonic energy coming into our eyes. It's healing for us, and I started to learn how to sun gaze in the mornings and in the evenings, and so I do that. And it's so funny, right now we're talking about eyes. Yesterday I went into the ophthalmology, to have them check my eyes, after the injury. And they are just like bewildered that I don't wear some form of glasses at my age. It's kind of like, you don't wear reading glasses, or I can do the eye chart. It's just that my injured eye is seeing it really blurry, and I'm getting all these floaters and stuff from, they said that my eye got compressed, and that kind of breaks up the gel that's in your eye. And so it'll take some time to heal. But yeah, it is good to go see the doctor at times. They were kind of concerned about a detached retina, and that's not the case. But yeah, we do need the sun. We need the sun in our eyes, and the sun is very healing for us. And so I have all these, hundreds of dollars worth of pairs of sunglasses that I don't even wear anymore. Mm-hmm. But unless I'm on my motorcycle, of course, then I wear sunglasses, because I like as much wind in my face as possible, but because I wear an open face helmet. But anyway, yeah.
I'm so sorry to cut in here, but I'm going to have to actually cut this short. I do have to go. My husband just came in and told me something, so I do have to head over to the farm, but love you all very much. Toni, have a safe trip, and I'll message you here in just a little bit with what's going on, but everything's all good. I just have to get over there and check this out, but love you all so much, and I'll talk to you all later.
Love you, Sarah. Thanks for being here.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, we move on without Sarah. I see we have Annette there too. Annette, how are you doing? I was just thinking of you. Yeah, Grant, it seems that one was buying really expensive sunglasses, but if I think about my sunglasses, their prescription, so they were definitely, $400 or $500 sunglasses normal, but I don't need that anymore. I am still hoping to heal my eyes. I have a cataract in my right eye, so I'm, a little bit more than half blind. And I heard Dr. Morse say in one of his videos that a cataract was the hardest to heal with detoxing, but I still have hope. So I gave myself another year. And then if it's not healed as much as I would like it, then I'm like, okay, maybe I do need to get surgery for that. But I'm keeping it off as long as I can, and just expect it to heal. We seem to have in my family, my mother, my sister, we all had the same issues with our eyes. And yeah, sometimes I wish I had known what I know now 40 years ago. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, Tony. They actually did look into my eyes too for cataracts, and they're always looking for something. But yeah, everything was good with me, and it seems to be like they have like this timeline of things that you should be losing. It seems like your eyesight is one of them at certain ages. And I think that kind of gets ingrained in us. It's like, especially if you buy into it and believe what they're telling you. Um, just like I was talking with a friend this morning, and he went into a diabetic state, and I keep explaining to him that diabetes is not really a disease. Being diabetic is a symptom. um but they want to get you on their program, the drugs and whatever, and they don't want you eating fruit. And I'm telling him, like, fruit is exactly what we need. And he's always checking his blood sugar level, and he's like, yeah, but my blood sugar spikes out and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but that's good sugar. It's what we need. I don't know whether or not we should be checking our blood sugar level. Is that really important?
Not if your diet is okay, but if I see, like 50 years ago, you barely heard anybody about diabetes. Some had it, the same with arthritis. But the problem is that when we tell people you need to eat more fruit, but then they still have their high fat meals, cooked meals, and then when you add fruit to it and you have all that fat in your diet too, it's not going to work. It will spike your blood sugar. So actually, instead of eating more fruit, what people should do is get the high fats out of their diet. Go on very low fat. Go on maybe even sorry. Go on low fat vegan raw for a while, or even if it's cooked, as long as you get the fats out of your diet, and then start adding more fruit. For the really diehards amongst us, I would say, yeah, you can go from, and it's what I did. I left all the what is it, animal derived foods out of my diet, and I went, I went all raw, but at first it was still with avocados and nuts and seeds, and a lot of nuts and seeds. And I'm not going to say I am a diabetic, but I do have blood sugar issues. So I found that it was not really it was at first going down, but then it went up again when I was adding the more fruit, not realizing fat was the problem. I did not find that out until about 3.5 years ago. And still, if I'm always on high fruit, but I may eat a cooked meal once in a while. Every time I do that, and actually it doesn't even have to be high fat. If there's a little fat in it, my blood sugar still spikes. So it means I haven't healed my pancreas yet. And I found that even on the all water, my blood sugar is still higher than it was like last year when I was on 100% fruit. So can you heal your diabetes? Yeah, but you have to be persistent with what you put in your mouth. If you are going back on cooked foods and all the avocados and the nuts and the seeds and who knows what other, can be oils, it can be coconut, everything that is high fat, you go back to square one. So it is a persistency, and you probably would do good, not necessarily on all fruit, but include the salads. You will heal it. But it's like I hear of people that yeah, but I do fruit and I do a salad. Okay, what is in your dressing? And then it comes, yeah, I add a few seeds and I add some nuts and a little bit oil. And it's like, well, that is where your problem is. It may be that tiny little bit that you can't handle. But yeah, we are all at a different health level. So that makes a difference. What works for one person who can't eat a little bit of fat and the other one cannot, and they both have diabetes. So you just have to try it out, see what works for you. So it is, for me, it has been a struggle, but I know now exactly what I need to do, and that is the point that we need to get at. But yes, I just posted a video. I think I posted it also on my Facebook, and that is where Dr. Morse talks about fruit and why it is needed and how it works. And I think that would be a good one for people to look into. I also have it on my channel, actually. And I know when you go on my channel, you have to scroll way down to get to all the Dr. Morse videos. But when especially when you have a friend who responses are like that, go there and see what Dr. Morse says and how he explains it, and that it can heal. Because I'm still amazed that so many health practitioners keep saying, yeah, you have this disease, and no, you cannot eat fruit at all. And fruit is the only food that we can heal with. Now, fruit is not healing. Your body heals, not the fruit. So we have to keep that in mind too. And your body heals the fastest when you leave out all the food, hence, you fast. And that's just it. I just see a message from Annette. She's doing really fine. And good. The bone connective tissue formula is working. Great. That is very good. Grant says, Toni, if you do surgery, make sure it's a good doctor, naturopath. Well, I don't think a naturopath will do any surgeries. I mean, you're stuck with some eye doctor. But yeah, it's I've heard horror stories on eye surgery, and I don't even want to think about any surgery. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I hear you, Toni. I went, like I said yesterday, into the, to see the eye doctor, and it's through Kaiser. Here we have Kaiser Permanente, which is like a hospital. Anyway, you got to go through the whole mask thing, and it's just like I just don't really get a good vibe from going to see the doctors, but they can do miracles. I mean, when it comes to doing like those type of things, surgeries and whatnot, I think technology is really, I know that my mother had cataracts, and that eventually she was not able to even read. I think that was when she really started to go downhill a lot, was when she used to love to read, and then but she always refused to go see a doctor. And but I also wanted to say thank you so much for these the biotonical eye health drops from Dr. Morse. I use those daily, and it's so soothing to my healing eye. And then I put a little bit in the other eye, my left, also. But and then it's a tincture. Then I drink. I drink it, and when I went and saw the doctor yesterday, they looked in my eyes and everything. It's like, oh, so you're using eye drops? You're doing good. And I said, yeah, I am using eye drops. And they said, well, what are you using? I said, well, I'm using a biotonical. And they just they shun you, and they're telling me, oh, well, you want to go get liquid tears, you want to get other brand Refresh and this and that. And it's kind of like, well, my biotonicals are working. I in my mind, I'm saying that because, they just really want to push what they know, which is, whatever.
It's I've even seen that with naturopath doctor that I went to, more than 10 years ago. I had a huge swelling in my neck, a huge grapefruit size. That was a lymph node that was blocked. and they said that you have to use probiotics. And I was like, no, I don't think so. He said, well, if you don't, you only have a 20% chance of living. And that scared the heck out of me. And 10 years ago, I didn't even know about, the lymph system and Dr. Morse, but I knew it wasn't a good thing. And it was just before I got, a few months before I got married and before I went to the Netherlands. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to take care of this. So I started taking the antibiotics, and nothing was making a difference. After 3 months, it finally went away. And I'm always thinking about, what if I had not taken anything at all? And would it have gone away too? Was it really the probiotics that did it? Or, oh no, it's not probiotics. My God, what is it called? I forgot a word. Can't help me out here, guys.
It wasn't probiotics?
No, it's not the probiotics. Probiotics is something else. When the doctors always give you something for an infection.
Oh, like yeah, I know what you're the one that kills your probiotics, right?
Yeah. Well, you guys know what I mean. Oh, this is pretty sad that I
and antibiotics, right?
Antibiotics. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, it kills your microbiome.
Yeah, well, it was antibiotics. So I was on there for 3 months, and then you wonder afterwards, would it have gone away without it? But they scare you into taking it. And they even give it to you as a preventative. And that makes no sense either. Because your body is intelligent. It knows what to do, when to do it, but we keep putting all this stuff in it and just mess our body up. It's like, yeah. So no, I'm not a fan of antibiotics, but that time I did take them because they scared me enough. Like, I was living by myself here and I was like, oh my gosh, and the thing is so big, it's so huge. And but it went, and it was hurting. It went away, but I still don't know if it wasn't the antibiotics that I then had to detox out, of course. So, but it's 10 years ago.
Yeah, I remember I was telling you that when I was in the ER that they wanted to pump me with antibiotics and give me tetanus shots and all that, and then I'm like, well, I don't have an infection, why do you want to give me that? And they're, oh, well, it's to prevent it. And I said, well, I'm fine, and then oh, well, are you updated with your tetanus, and I'm like, no, I've never had tetanus. I've never had a tetanus shot. I just, and it's kind of like, I don't want anything penetrating into my body, man. You know what I mean? It's like, I really kind of get freaked out when you have to go under anesthesia, because you're knocked out and you don't know what they're doing to you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I see Kim Hart is here. I texted with her yesterday. I'm happy you made it here. And happy to hear that the results that your mother is getting. So we can see that it works. And Grant says, my mom just did 2 cataract surgery and didn't come out great so far, but it was normal because surgery. Yeah, thanks, Grant. Antibiotics. Yeah, silly me. Yeah, so far I want to see what diet can do and just go from there. But it is if I look long distance, I kind of see double because my left eye is fine. My right eye, I can only see the right part of my eye, so there is black in the middle. So when you look into a distance, you see double, and that's not easy with driving to I have to admit. But I'm confident that whatever needs to heal will heal, and the body is just healing it at the pace that it can. And it's not necessarily what we want to heal first. I mean, I see healing things in my body, but my knees are still not great. But it is happening, and it is getting better. So that is all we can do. I knew that with a lifelong issues that I had, and you're correct, we don't call it diseases, it's symptoms of acidosis in your body. And they usually show up in the weaker spots of your body. And I'm sorry, we just have to, we know that we can heal. I want to mention something about the ebook that I have been previously talking about a lot. Thanks to Katie, it's pretty much finished. I did add another section that was actually about supplements, and it totally slipped my mind, but there are a few pages now that talk about supplements, and I thought, that is actually pretty important to have that included. I purchased a color laser printer. So for whoever wants the book in a printed format, and I've told before, this is not a book that I want people to share because it was meant to be only for my clients, but I can print it out now. I can use a spiralized bounding. That machine comes today. I found a cheap one. And so I can send that to you. Yeah, it's not free as much as I would like that. I think it comes probably around $50. So I can get, my cost back from the investment I did for the machines to be able to print them out. But I'm happy with it. It looks beautiful. I can do it spiralized bound, and I also have it in folders. So let me know if you are interested in one, because I really do see it as I call it your health journey guide. And, it's like your Bible for being healthy, to understand what is going on in your body, how does it work, what responses can you expect, what to eat, what not to eat, dental information. There is so much information in there. It's 228 pages now. So in the last month or so, it went up from the 140 pages that I always send to my clients. It's now 228 pages. And everything is indexed. Even the flip book, we call it a flip book. It's online. It is on my first and last name, ToniWeel.com/ebook. It's searchable, and so is the PDF. So if you want to search for a certain topic, you can very easily do that by using the search function. So I think that, that book will be very helpful to stay on course with your health journey. I think it is pretty much a must. These are all articles, information that I collected over the last 3 years, and just now put it all together to help people. A great source for me was grapegate.com, and you can find a lot of information there too. But seeing the most important ones all together in just one book, I think even I use it. I think it's really helpful. So if you're interested, send me an email to healthywithfruit.com. No, healthywithfruit@gmail.com. My other email that is easier to remember is ToniWeel.com. But just remember that I get a lot of emails there, so it may, disappear in all the stuff that I get, and I may not see it. Healthy with Fruit is only for, with people I talk about health. So healthywithfruit@gmail.com.
I want one.
Okay.
Send me one, Toni.
Yeah, I will send you one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday.
Well, you already have been very generous with your donation, so I was very happy about that.
Oh yeah, no problem.
We are at 11 today, and so we're gonna end the chat, the podcast, and I look forward to see all you guys back in 2 weeks on Thanksgiving, if you can. we still want to be there. And love you all. Thank you for being here, and keep up, with your journey, with your fruit, with your happiness, with everything. Be happy.
Thank you, Toni. Love you, and have a fun trip with the motorcycle museum and stuff.
Yeah, we will definitely make it fun. We love to be together. We
Yeah.
love to travel, so it will be fun. So thanks everybody. Until soon. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.